Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is so exciting to be in 2026. I feel like last year I've had such a great reading year and I'm really excited to start this year with reading so many good books, and one of the nicest way to do that is to start off the year on the right foot, and for that we're gonna be reading my 5 stars prediction. I don't think I'm emotionally ready, and this person will die. I don't even know his name. So to start this video, I'm gonna be finishing a series that I love so dearly, and also reading my first 5-star prediction of the year, which is The Winners by Fredrik Backman. This book is a brick. This book is so thick, but also like I'm really not excited for this year to end. I love these characters so much, and I'm really excited to see how we're gonna like evolve from last book. I feel like we left off in such a nice way in terms of like the character stories are well rounded, the ending is satisfying. Like we don't need this book, but also I need this book because I need to know that my babies are okay. And so that's gonna be the first book we're gonna read, and I'm so excited, but also like not, because I know it's gonna make me cry. So that's just what Fredrik Backman does to me. But anyways, I'm really excited to start off this book and to read so many great books for 2026. My first cry of The Winners 50 pages in. I didn't film myself crying. It was really ugly. They named the kid. Anyways, this is going great. I don't think I'm emotionally ready for 600 more pages of this, but I'm happy to be back with these characters. Reading update. If you guys are confused why I look the exact same as the intro, it is because this is filmed at the same time as the intro. I've been reading The Winners almost every day. It is a very thick book, and I'm taking my sweet time with it because one, this is the end of a series that I really love, and I want to take my time with it and just like savor every moment that Fredrik Backman is giving us. But also it is quite heavy and sad and emotional, and I'm not always in the mood for that kind of book, so I am taking my time with it. I am 25% through. I'm pretty sure that's what Goodreads says, and I'm loving it so far. As you guys saw, I've read a couple of times already, and I'm just like so nervous because one thing that Fredrik Backman does so well is foreshadowing. He starts usually his chapters by like hinting at something that will happen later, either in the chapter or later in the book, or he ends the chapter with like, and this person will die, and you're like, but then it doesn't happen until like another book or later on in the book. Like there's something that were hinted to in Beartown, the first one, that are now just happening. And so it's so interesting and lovely to see his vision come through, and that's one thing that I'm really enjoying with Fredrik Backman's writing. But also I'm stressed because we've hinted at stuff that I'm just, what do you mean? The first page of this book, I was gagged. I was shook. I think I filmed me starting this book, but I think I'm gonna have to blur it because if you know, you know. But if you don't know, we basically get spoiled or like foreshadowed someone's death on the literal page 1. Like that's the start of the book. Because it's so heavy, and also because it's so big I can't carry it with me everywhere, I also, as you guys saw, decided to start The Martian on audiobook. In September, I'm pretty sure, I read Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. I don't know how to say his last name, and that was so surprising. It was a 5-star. It was one of my favorite book of last year, and I loved it so much, and so I really wanted to read The Martian. I put it on my list of books that I wanted to read this year, and I started it because I was like, it's probably gonna be stressful, yes, but probably less depressing as The Winners. And let me tell you how much I love The Martian. I don't think I'm loving it as much as Project Hail Mary because all the science, the physics, the engineering, the space stuff, I don't understand all of this, but I do understand a lot of it. But sometimes I feel like understanding it is like slightly a curse because I understand it, I'm like, I get stuck up on like the science of it all, and I'm like, how are we doing this? Like, wait, that's not what I learned in class. But then also not understanding it sometimes is a curse, because you're like, I'm not sure what he's doing. Like, go you, but what are you doing? But basically, the Martian you follow, I don't even know his name. Mike? I think his name is Mike. Oh, Mark. He was on like a 6 people's mission to Mars to collect sample. I think it has to do with like planting seeds on Mars or something like that. Something went wrong on day 6 while they were there. Like, there was a big storm and Mark got like hit by a metal rod or something, and then he basically started crashing and then got swept by a sandstorm. And because the suits of all the people in the mission are like connected, they can see each other's vitals or something like that. And the missions people were like, yeah, well, first of all, we can't really find him, he's not responsive, and it says that he ran out of oxygen, so he's dead. And we all saw him get hit, so we just assumed that he's dead. And so they are also all getting like swept up. It's getting really dangerous. And so they're like, abort mission, we're going back to Earth. And so they take the vessel that's meant to be going back from Earth, and they leave everything there. They leave their supplies, they leave the like landing gear they came in with, that's like a smaller ship. I don't really understand all rocket science. And they leave, and Mark is not dead, basically stuck on Mars. He wants to survive until the next ship arrives and shit goes wrong. I'm not gonna say more because I think like Project Hail Mary is the kind of book that is so good to go in blind. But yeah, the science stuff is a bit overwhelming, but also I'm really loving it. And I'm just genuinely speaking loving The Martian. I think it's getting my heart pumping. I'm listening to it on the bus when I go to school. I'm listening to it like when I cook my meals, like every single time I can. And now I feel bad because I feel like I've been putting aside The Winners, but this is like slightly depressing and I'm not feeling like reading this right now, but I'm still really loving The Winners. The Winners will most likely be a 5-star read. Like, it's already giving me 5-star vibes. It's just it's heavy, it's a lot to take in, and The Martian is just exciting. I have 7% left in The Martian. My roommate is sleeping, so I'm trying to be quiet, but I'm almost done. The rescue mission is like scary because it's happening right now. And I'm scared it could go either way, and I don't know which way it's gonna go. I'm really nervous, but I'm excited because I'm really liking this book. On The Winners. I need to start doing schoolwork because I've been lacking all day because I've been mostly reading The Winners. This book is so long and so heartwarming and heartbreaking at the same time. I don't even know how I'm gonna get through it, but I'm currently on page 244 out of like 600 and something, and I love them so much. I love these characters so much. Oh my word. Honestly, like, getting all up in my feels reading this book. I understand why people are saying it's like the best conclusion to the series, and I haven't even reached halfway mark yet. So much is going on. Also, we're introducing new characters, which I think is bold to do in the last book, but also I'm very interested to see how these new characters are gonna like tie in with the characters you already know. We've already had like one connection made between a new character and an old one with Anna, because if he's adding their point of view, obviously that means they're gonna end up being important, because Frederick Bachman does not write unless he has something to say. His words all have a point, and so I'm really excited to see how they're gonna turn. I feel like we're getting to know these new characters slightly better. We're getting a couple of chapters in their point of view. At first I was really confused, but now I'm starting to get behind these new characters. My favorite characters still remain Benji and Maya. I feel like my heart's gonna get broken. I just got to a very sad and horrifying part, and my cat started doing biscuit on my legs, and so now I can't be sad because she's just anyways. The book is getting really sad. It's bringing back stuff that happened in like the timeline of the first book, which I think is very interesting. I mean, it is a series, so it makes sense, but from characters we didn't know. I don't understand how this book is gonna end. I am scared, actually. There's 60 pages left. Okay, 70 pages left. I don't think I can do this anymore. We're not even done. I don't even know what's going on. I have to read with my hand because I'm so nervous. I'm gonna spoil myself. So, as you guys saw, I finished, well, R.I.P. my beautiful edition of Little Women. That's what flew off. It's this beautiful, gorgeous edition of Little Women. As you guys saw, I finished reading The Winners yesterday, and did I finish it or did it finish me? That is really the question. So I slept on it. Obviously, this is a 5-star. There's no reason why it wouldn't be. I am absolutely devastated that this series is over. I'm also absolutely devastated with how it ended. I think this ending was necessary, however I don't like it. I wish everything was happy and beautiful and joyful and joyous, and I'm sad. I'm really sad, and I'm trying not to think too much about it because this is fresh. It's still fresh, and I'm trying not to cry again. But the way Fredrik Backman writes is so wonderful. He has a way to express the little things in life in a way that makes them profound, and I think that's an art, that's a talent that I don't have. And that not a lot of authors have. You can write beautiful books but just have a very basic prose, but he has a beautiful prose. And honestly, hats off to the translator, because obviously I don't read Swedish. That's in English, but I think the translator, I don't know what Fredrik Backman writes in Swedish, but I think the translator translated beautifully. Like, it didn't feel like a translation, and for that, hats off. This series will live in my heart, in my head forever. I think I've learned so much from this series about how I see the world and how we are just people in a floating orb, and we should just live. And I think this series is so heartbreaking but also so hopeful about the world, and I am so grateful that I read this. Hats off to Fredrik Backman. That was The Winners, my first 5-star of the year. I'm really happy, or now I'm happy. Yesterday I was not. And now it's time to pick another book. I have a lot of like potential 5 stars. I think after The Winners, nothing will beat that. Like, I have to do a genre switch, because I was thinking maybe picking up The Women by Kristen Hanna, but I think I need to switch it up. I don't think I can do just a fiction after reading The Winners, because I think it's gonna affect the way I see this book. But I think this is gonna be a 5-star. However, we're not gonna read that one. So now we have a few that there are potential 5 stars. The Shepherd's King duology. I think this series will be a 5-star series for me. I don't know if I'm gonna give this book 5 stars, but I think I'm gonna give this one 5 stars. That's my prediction. So we could read that. We could also read The Conditions of Will. I think I'm gonna give that 5 stars. We could also read One for My Enemy. I think I'm gonna give that 5 stars. Again, maybe not time for fiction, but I'm not entirely sure this is this fiction? And then I also think I might really like The Night in the Motte. So there's a few options. I really don't know which way I'm gonna go. I need to read a fun palette cleanser first, I think, before picking up another book. Slight update on One Dark Window. After reading The Winners, I was in the biggest slump ever. I just could not pick up a book, so I banged audiobooks because those always get me out of a slump. Now we're back. Now we're reading One Dark Window, and also I don't think this is the best book to pick up after being in a little slump, because this new world, it's not that it's super complicated, but it did take me a while to get into it, understand what was going on, get into the story. It did take me 80 pages to do that, but now that I'm almost halfway. Now I'm really into the story and I'm loving it, but it did take me a long time to get into it. So there was a lot of steps back. There was a lot of obstacle to our reading of One Dark Window, but we're finally getting into it. I am really enjoying it right now. I don't think, unfortunately, this will be a 5-star. However, I really like the world. I really like these characters. I can see how maybe the second book will be. The magic system in this is so interesting and very new. It's not just power, in a way very realistic, and and I'm pretty sure like everyone can have these powers because their powers come from cards, like kind of playing cards, but they're like magic cards, and there's 12 of them, 13 of them, I don't know. Each card is associated with like a power, like or like a thing. But magic, it says magic comes at a cost, so I'm guessing you lose something if you use the card too much. And so this is really interesting, and I'm really excited to see where this is going. Hi everyone. I'm realizing I'm wearing the same shirt as earlier in the video, but it is a month later. I'm editing this video and I realized I've never did like an update on The Martian or One Dark Window, and I didn't conclude this video. The Martian, I absolutely adored it. I think the audiobook was very well narrated. I think Andy Weir writes stories where they're very adaptable in an audiobook format. I don't know if it's because it's in space, I don't know if it's because it's very imaginative, but I really enjoyed the audiobook. And then for the story, I also really enjoyed the story. I really thought it was going to be a 5 stars, but after sitting on it a bit, I think it's going to be a 4.5 for me. I just love Andy Weir's writing. I think it's super immersive, and especially with the audiobook, it makes the whole journey so interesting. And I think even if you read it physically, it would be the same. The way he brings us along the ride with his characters, it just makes it so much fun. And I think he writes kind of stories that should be really stressful, and they are, don't get me wrong, but the fact that it feels like you're there with the character, it makes it, yeah, super stressful, but also super like intimate. I feel like I was there with Mark, and I followed every journey, and I was really excited when the ending concluded and it went the way I wanted it to go. So I think just the way he writes, I will always like his writing style, and I'm really excited to read more of his books. And I think the audiobook for me was a perfect way to read The Martian, so I would 100% recommend. So I did really enjoy it. It was not a 5 star, but it was really close. I just think I really like Project Hail Mary more, and The Martian was slightly more complicated in terms of the science, and it did make it hard to follow sometimes. And so I think that's why it's not quite exactly a 5 stars. And then for One Dark Window, this one was hard for me to get through because I was really busy, and I really enjoyed the story of One Dark Window, but I had a hard time fully grasping and understanding what was happening. It did take me, I think I've said that earlier, it did take me like 100 pages to really be immersed in the story and really root for our characters and really care about what was going on. But once I did really care about what was going on, I did really enjoy the story, and I'm really excited for the second one. However, this was not a 5 stars. I do think this series has a potential to be 5 stars. There's something so beautiful about the way Rachel Gillig writes. I think you guys, if you guys, this isn't the first time you've seen the video, but even in this video, you guys, I care a lot about their writing style. For me, the writing style is almost half the work. And I'm not saying that if you don't have a beautiful prose, your book I won't like, but obviously a beautiful prose helps my likeness of the book in a way. I don't know how to explain this, but in this one I really enjoyed how the magic system is really creative, and I've never read anything like this before, and I was really immersed in it. And I think it's really cool that all the cards, like, it's not someone with powers, it's like the cards, so anyone could have powers if they use the cards. And I think this is really interesting because in most fantasy book that I've read, actually, just like specific individual have powers or have access to resources that makes them powerful. But in this book, it's like if you get your hands on a card, you have magic. And I like that magic comes at a cost. I think it's really creative and also makes the stake high for everyone. Like, if you use magic repeatedly with the cards, you will lose something about yourself. And so I think this is just a really fun concept. And although I didn't love the story, I really did like it, and I think the second book does have a potential to be 5 stars for me. I absolutely adored the little romance sparkling that we got, but also I really like the fantasy spec of it. So I think this is just a wonderful book, and I really cannot wait to finish this series. I haven't gone to the second book yet, but I'm quite excited. And I think the fact that it's a duology, it makes it more fast-paced. You know, like trilogies, you can really stretch out stories starting from a trilogy on where like if you have 3 books or more, you can really stretch out a story. But in a duology, you have to be concise and you have to be interesting, and Rachel Gillig really definitely did that in this book. And I think that's why I really didn't understand that much at the beginning, is because it was going so fast and I was like, wait, I was a bit confused about the magic system and where we were going and who were these characters, which is kind of the curse of a duology. But once you get into it, I promise you guys, it is really, really good. So I do recommend this book, and I'm really, really excited to read the second one. So yeah, from this video, we only got 1 5-star out of my predicted, but I think they're all amazing reads. And so I think I'm getting really good at knowing my book taste and which book I'm gonna like, because even though The Martian and One Dark Window weren't 5 stars, I really had a good time with them and I cannot recommend them enough. So please pick up all of these books. If you pick up Beartown, please be careful. Check out trigger warnings and be careful that you might cry, but I really, really recommend all of these books. And so thank you for coming along to this very emotional journey of reading with me, and I hope that you guys like this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.